key to success, particularly with me, is about enthusiasm and energy. And everyone talks about building a business being a marathon. It is, but it's a marathon done at sprint speed. So having the energy and the persistence and the vision. I mean, one of the interesting things is about enthusiasm. It brings everybody with you. So as the leader of an organisation, when you have a bad day, those bad days you need to go home and keep the furniture, not actually show it in front of everybody else. Clearly when someone comes to you and they're enthusiastic, you might say to somebody, well, actually there must be a marketplace. But just because they're excited about a particular product which they may buy doesn't necessarily mean there's a marketplace which is big enough to sustain a business. But you need to take a step back and be very clear and go, why would anybody buy this? Can I explain it to somebody? Is there a real market here? And rather than getting carried away with the hype. Now, lots of people do things which don't make money. They're called hobbies, but sometimes they get caught up in thinking it's really a business. So, can it make money? Is it sustainable? Actually, is there a genuine market out there? Actually, the fundamentals. I think once you get started with something, it's very difficult to walk away because you're emotionally connected to it. But again, it's about going back and saying, okay, is this business, does it work? I'm involved in a recruitment company which in the current marketplace we've stuck on ice. In another 6 months, 2 years' time, that recruitment market may come back and we may start it again. But it's about, you only get a certain amount of time to do things and you need to be very clear about whether that time is being very well spent. In fact, probably, if you look at any entrepreneur, the greatest secret they have is actually how they use their time. We all have 24 hours, but how come some people make £10,000 a year out of it and other people make £100 million a year out of that 24 hours? In different markets, it's often difficult to understand why certain companies grow and others don't. I mean, people say, well, how come Google made it? Well, you read the history books about what happened with Google, and some of it was an accident. So it's very difficult to be analytical, say this business will work, this won't. But unless the fundamentals are in place, which is there is a market that's ready for it, there's a product which someone will buy, and then you go about marketing it in the right way. If you haven't got those correct. Now, some of it's luck, some of it's just timing. I think people give up maybe too early before a product really kicks in properly. But there are some things you can't change. You can change the product, you can change your marketing material, but if the market isn't ready for that product, you can't change that. And I think that's the thing which actually has the greatest influence. It's interesting, people often ask me, why do I do stuff? Do I run Nimbus? I've got a publishing company called Smart Questions, I've got an iPhone company called Point No Shout. Why do you do all this stuff? And still sail and still have a family? It's because I like doing things. I like seeing things being successful. And with those other businesses, I'm actually helping grow other people to run those businesses. So again, it's all about achievements, and everyone's driven by different motivations. Mine's about I like getting stuff started and actually seeing them work. So one bit of advice, if it's only one, I think you need to be very, very clear why you are doing it. What are the outcomes? If you're not clear, then in 6 months, 2 years, 5 years' time, you won't have the energy to continue, you won't have that passion. So you need to be very clear why you're in it.